Hey everybody, and today we have a 1.5 meta list made by myself and a couple of friends from the Digimon TCG Discord that have won several tournaments as well. So hopefully our insight helps you guys prepare for the future metagame and what to expect when the 1.5 set drops. So let's get started. First off, we have Tier 1. Now, Tier 1 consists of these 4 decks, as you can see, and do keep in mind that the margin between Tier 1 and Tier 2 is significantly smaller than it was in 1.0, so don't feel obligated to only play Tier 1. But to kick us off, we have Mastermon Control. Mastermon Control in 1.5 is a strong control deck that excels in using your opponent's Digimons as resources in the form of Digisorption. Through the power of Mastermon, you're able to constantly oppress their board by swinging directly into their mons and making it so they can never keep anything on the board and having it stick. Your opponent will most likely use the raising area to their advantage in this sense, and if you force them into raising area, then you get a lot of free pressure as they don't contest you. Do keep in mind that Mastermon is not invincible, and it does have some bad matchups, one of which is Omnibond Red. Now, Omnibond Red, once again, in 1.0, just like in 1.0, is a really powerful deck, and it has received significant upgrades in the form of Blitz Draymond, Gargomon, as well as Omnibond Alter S. The combination of those 3 cards give Red a significant power buff, as they now have a on-Digivolve top end, which is really strong, as Blitz Draymond is D-Digivolve 2, for those of you who don't know. Alter S allows it to board clear as well, not relying solely on Volcanic Dramon, as well as Gargomon, which adds to the consistency of the deck. Very powerful deck indeed. Now we have Rookie Rush. Rookie Rush is really strong in the 1.5 metagame, and the reason for this is because of the inclusion of cards such as Vmon, X-Vmon, and Let's Stop Fighting. Those 3 cards create a combo to where you can get a restance off of X-Vmon, you can prevent destruction with jamming from Vmon, or Let's Stop Fighting. It has a lot more aggro, and it's a lot more proactive, so do keep this in mind when you're playing versus Rookie Rush. And finally, the last deck in Tier 1, we have Shine Draymond. Shine Draymond is also a control deck similar to Mastermon, however it's much more of a grindy playstyle as it relies on setting up Tamers and then dropping Shine Draymond to pop the board. Shine Draymond is really good, as a lot of opponents cannot beat it once it sets up into what I refer to as the castle, which is a bunch of Tamers. Once you drop that Shine onto the board and you have a bunch of Tamers out, then you generally wipe the board completely clean. So really powerful. In Tier 1, we kind of see a sort of triangle-like effect where red beats green, green beats yellow, and then yellow beats red. So keep that in mind when you decide what deck to play. Any of these Tier 1 decks will be definitely viable to win tournaments with, so yeah. Going on into Tier 2, we start off with Imperial Digimon Blue. Imperial Digimon Blue is one of the strongest decks in the 1.5 metagame, and it is borderline Tier 1. The reason why Imperial Digimon is not Tier 1, however, is that it has to high roll a tad bit to get into that Tier 1 territory. Imperial Digimon is easy 3 damage, 4 damage a turn through the power of restanding and jamming. However, you have to get the specific pieces in order to pull that amount of damage off. Imperial Digimon on a good day, or when you high roll a tad bit, is a Tier 1 deck. Imperial Digimon on a average to low roll day, it's a Tier 2 deck, still performs relatively well though. Following up on Imperial Digimon Blue, we have Imperial Digimon Green. Imperial Digimon Green, just like Imperial Digimon Blue, functions kind of the same way, where it seeks to do a lot of damage and whatnot. However, there are a couple of big differences. First of all, Imperial Digimon Green does not have access to Vmon X Vmon, which is a really insane jamming combo, as that's a free 2 damage right there alone. However, it does have access to Hidden Potential Discovered. Now, Imperial Digimon's cost is reduced by 2, and it becomes a 3 cost Digivolution if you Digivolve on top of Hyel Digimon or Dino Beamon. However, it'll often pass turn unless you have a Tamer set up. With Hidden Potential Discovered, you're allowed to not pass the turn when you Digivolve into your Imperial Digimon, and you can do a lot of damage. This is significant because if you Digivolve into Blue Imperial Digimon, you restand all cards with jamming, including Imperial Digimon. So hypothetically, if you have a single Dino Beamon stack, right, and then you Hidden Potential rest it, and then you Digivolve into Blue Imperial Digimon, you would restand the Imperial Digimon stack, which is a really powerful combo. So you keep that in mind, guys. You also have access to a lot more DP boosts, and you're not afraid to swing at bodies, as you do have piercing on Green Imperial Digimon and whatnot, and you also have incentivized to swing at bodies as well, as you have cards like Stingman. Speaking of Stingman, we have Boncho Stingman Mega Gargomon mix. This deck excels at killing level 7s, such as Red Omnimon, Blue Omnimon, whichever level 7, right? The big difference between Boncho, Stingman, Mega Gargomon, and Ceresmon is that it's a lot more dependent on what you decide to play against. While this deck excels versus decks with the 12k threshold broken, such as Omnimons and Ceresmons, it will struggle into decks such as Rookie Rush and Shine Draymond, as it does not meet the requirement for Boncho Stingmon to get the plus 7k as well as the plus 2 crit. So, because of that, it's in the tier 2, as it's not as consistent as Ceresmon Green. Following up, we have Mastermon Purple. Mastermon Purple is a really cool deck in the sense that it's a toolbox-like deck, and it's able to revive anything from both yellow and purple's pool, and there's a lot of stuff to revive. From yellow's end, you have Petermon, Tinkermon, and you have Gargomon, which is on play, minus, I think it's like 4 or 5k DP, I can't remember exactly, if you have a purple Digimon. And keep in mind, Mastermon is a purple Digimon, so Mastermon alone will trigger the Gargomon's requirement, and so it's a really cool splash as like a 1 or 2 of if you're looking to pop certain cards. So, if you like the toolboxy route, Mastermon Purple, or Yellow even, really cool stuff. We have Omnibond Blue next up. Now, Omnibond Blue and Omnibond Red were pretty close in the 1.0 format. However, in 1.5, the gap between them has widened a bit, as Omnibond Blue did not receive as many upgrades as Omnibond Red. Omnibond Red getting the Blitz Draymond and the Alter S was really significant. Blue got Mastermon, which is the equivalent of Lava Gargomon, which is another 2-cost level 5. However, aside from that, Blue Omni didn't receive many upgrades. Blue Omni also struggles versus Ceresmon Green and Rookie Rush, so that is why we see it in the tier 2 slot. Now, a lot of you may wonder about this one, but Cranium Black is actually something I think could do really well if you get really strong high roll top decks off Cranium. Cranium, or Black in general, is not popular in American regions as a result of Black not having a 2-cost level 5, so they feel that is a bit slow. However, this deck is hyped up in certain regions of Asia. I know Malaysia plays a lot of Black, and Cranium is able to completely storm the game if you top deck some really good cards, such as Skull Greymon or Infirmon Promo, so keep that in mind. Next, we have Biezelman Purple. Biezelman Purple did not receive any significant upgrades between now and 1.0 as a result of having a majority of its BT3 cards already in 1.0, but nonetheless, it remains a good deck. Now, finally going into tier 3, first off we have Ulforce Biezelman. Ulforce Biezelman is a deck that also relies on tamers such as Shine Greymon. However, the big difference is that Ulforce Biezelman is a much more aggressive deck versus Shine Greymon, which is a much more grind control. Ulforce Biezelman sees itself in tier 3, unlike Shine, however, because it does not have access to the magical card we refer to as Rise Greymon. Rise Draymond is a card that states, when you digivolve into this card, you may play a yellow tamer for free, thus accelerating the tempo and speed of Shine Greymon significantly. Ulforce Biezelman hinges on its big combo turn with Ulforce, as it goes in for an easy 3-4 damage and whatnot. Sometimes it could even go all the way to 6 if you have enough tamers, right? And we'll see a lot of success with Ulforce Biezelman and V-Tamer Taichi in that sense, with the two combined. So, really strong potential to high roll combo deck, but it is kind of slow and inconsistent, so keep that in mind. Next, we have Malamaiodusmon. Malamaiodusmon suffers from non-proactiveness, in the sense that you go into it on turn 3, and it doesn't do anything, because you probably pass the turn with the turn you go into the Malamaiodusmon. So, if it gets removed or anything, then you feel really bad, because you've just wasted a lot of resource to not get any benefit, because Malamaiodusmon does not have an on-digital effect. He's entirely a passive effect that lingers. If you can get Malamaiodusmon to stick, then you feel really good about it. But most likely, the tier 1 decks minus Rookie Rush are able to clear him out, so it feels kind of bad. Following up, we have Cranium Black. Cranium Black is in a similar boat to Cranium Black, where it's not very popular in English communities, and it's very hyped up in certain regions of Asia. It loses to some of the tier 1s, such as Ceresmon Green and Shine Greymon, but it may see really good success versus decks like Imperial and to some extent some Rookie Rush variations depending on what they run, as well as some variations of Omnimon as you prevent destruction from Omnimon himself. However, that's speaking on paper. In actuality, in paper, we've seen Red Omnimon do completely fine into Craniumon. We've seen Rookie Rush players get around Craniumon through the power of Let's Stop Fighting, Flower Cannons, etc. So, because of that inconsistency, we see Cranium Black in Tier 3. Following up on Cranium Black, we have Malamaiodusmon Turbo. Malamaiodusmon Turbo suffers from the same issues as Cranium decks, or Black decks in general, where it lacks a 2-cost level 5, despite wanting to accomplish similar goals to Omnibond Turbo, and as a result, it has seen itself in Tier 3. However, that is not to say that the purple variation is completely irrelevant either, as it does have access to 2-cost level 5 rather, but still, Malamaiodusmon is not significantly as impactful as Omnimon, so it finds itself a bit down here. Following up on that, we have Megazoo. Megazoo is really interesting, as you play level 5s and level 4s hard directly onto the board and use their on-play effects to gain yourself tempo. This deck struggles versus a lot of the tier 1 decks because, well, once you remove the body, you're going to constantly keep giving your opponent 10 memory over and over again, and that can get overwhelming at times. However, really strong Rookie Rush matchup. As you give Rookie Rush so much memory, they don't know what to do with themselves because everything in Rookie Rush is so cheap already. So, keep that in mind if you're looking for a really spicy deck to play into. Now, finally, we have Ragnalordmon, both red and black. Ragnalordmon is a deck that is very flashy, right? It is all show, very little substance. Ragnalordmon Black suffers from not having a 2-cost level 5 despite being a turbo level 7 deck, and Ragnalordmon in general has really weak early game. It's all very vanilla. Black has over red in the sense that you have a lot of blockers to shore up that weak early game. You also have access to Raiji Ludo, which gives you control options through D-Digivolve on attack, so those are really nice. Red Ragna, rather, my apologies. Red Ragna is much more glass cannon. It seeks to one-punch, one-kill the opponent through the amount of security attack you do gain. However, it is significantly more fragile. So, as a result, because these two decks are either too slow or too glass cannon-y, we find them in Tier 3. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tier list, and hopefully it helps you guys prepare for what you want to build in 1.5. Just remember, any of the decks on this list are capable of winning tournaments. These decks have won 1 to 2 tournaments, or tops rather. They've topped tournaments before in the past, so to say that they won't see any success, I think is incorrect. Just don't be afraid to explore and try new things out, as 1.5 is significantly much more interesting than the 1.0 meta game. So, thanks for watching, guys.